It is better to die than to preserve this life by incurring disgrace. The loss of life causes but a moment's grief, but disgrace brings grief every day of one's life. Sinfully acquired wealth may remain for 10 years, in the 11th year, it disappears with even the original stock. He who loses his money is forsaken by his friends, his wife, his servants, and his relations, yet when he regains his riches those who have forsaken him come back to him. Hence wealth is certainly the best of relations. We should secure and keep the following: the blessings of meritorious deeds, wealth, grain, the words of the spiritual master, and rare medicines. Otherwise, life becomes impossible. We should repay the favors of others by acts of kindness, so also should we return evil for evil in which there is no sin, for it is necessary to pay a wicked man in his own coin. There are 2 nectarian fruits hanging from the tree of this world, one is the hearing of sweet words, such as Krishnakya, and the other is the society of saintly men. All creatures are pleased by loving words, and therefore we should address words that are pleasing to all, for there is no lack of sweet words. Those who are not satiated with the enjoyment of wealth, food, and women have all passed away. There are others now passing away who have likewise remained unsatiated, and in the future still others will pass away feeling themselves unsatiated. He who wears unclean garments, has dirty teeth, is a glutton, speaks unkindly and sleeps after sunrise, although he may be the greatest personality, will lose the favor of Lakshmi. There are 2 ways to get rid of thorns and wicked persons: using footwear in the first case and in the second shaming them so that they cannot raise their faces again, thus keeping them at a distance. There is no treasure on earth the gift of which will cancel the debt a disciple owes his guru for having taught him even a single letter, that leads to Krishna consciousness. The cuckoos remain silent for a long time, for several seasons, until they are able to sing sweetly, in the spring, so as to give joy to all. A wise man should not divulge the formula of medicine that he is well prepared, an act of charity that he has performed, domestic conflicts, private affairs with his wife, poorly prepared food he may have been offered, or slang he may have heard. If you wish to gain control of the world by the performance of a single deed, then keep the following 15, which are prone to wander here and there, from getting the upper hand of you: the 5 sense objects, objects of sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch, the 5 sense organs, ears, eyes, nose, tongue and skin, and organs of activity, hands, legs, mouth, genitals and anus. We should always deal cautiously with fire, water, women, foolish people, serpents, and members of a royal family, for they may, when the occasion presents itself, at once bring about our death. We should always speak about what would please the man from whom we expect a favor. We should not feel pride in our charity, austerity, valor, scriptural knowledge, modesty, and morality, for the world is full of the rarest gems. Oil on water, a secret communicated to a base man, a gift given to a worthy receiver, and scriptural instruction given to an intelligent man spread out by virtue of their nature. The enemy can be overcome by the union of large numbers. Wealth, a friend, a wife, and a kingdom may be regained, but this body when lost may never be acquired again.
Low-class men desire wealth, middle-class men both wealth and respect, but the noble, honor only.
There are 3 gems on this earth: food, water, and pleasing words. Even the man who has taught the spiritual significance of just one letter ought to be worshipped. As a calf follows its mother among 1,000 cows, so the, good or bad, deeds of a man follow him. The hearts of base men burn before the fire of others' fame, and they slander them for being unable to rise to such a high position. He who is prepared for the future and he who deals cleverly with any situation that may arise are both happy, but the fatalistic man who wholly depends on luck is ruined. He who is overly attached to his family members experiences fear and sorrow, for the root of all grief is attachment. Thus one should discard attachments to be happy. We should not fret about what is past, nor should we be anxious about the future. Men of discernment deal only with the present moment. As centesimal droppings will fill a pot, so also are knowledge, virtue, and wealth gradually obtained. He who is not shy in the acquisition of wealth, grain, and knowledge, and in taking his meals, will be happy. Our bodies are perishable, wealth is not at all permanent and death is always nearby. Therefore we must immediately engage in acts of merit. The student, Brahmachari, should completely renounce the following 8 things: his lust, anger, greed, desire for sweets, sense of decorating the body, excessive curiosity, excessive sleep, and excessive endeavor for bodily maintenance. Mental dirt cannot be washed away even by 100 baths in the sacred waters. The wicked man will not attain sanctity even if he is instructed in different ways. He who is engrossed in family life will never acquire knowledge. There can be no mercy in the eater of flesh, the greedy man will not be truthful, and purity will not be found in a woman and a hunter. Generosity, pleasing address, courage, and propriety of conduct are not acquired but are inbred qualities. Through the night, a great many kinds of birds perch, sit and rest on a tree, but in the morning they fly in all 10 directions. Why should we lament, expression of sorrow, for that? Similarly, we should not grieve when we must inevitably part company from our dear ones. What good can the scriptures do to a man who has no sense of his own? Of what use is his mirror to a blind man? Those who are destitute of learning, penance, knowledge, good disposition, virtue, and benevolence are brutes wandering the earth in the form of men. They are burdensome to the earth. Fate makes a beggar a king and a king a beggar. He makes a rich man poor and a poor man rich. We should carefully scrutinize that place upon which we step, we should drink water that has been filtered, we should speak only those words which have the sanction of the satras, and do that act which we have carefully considered. The serpent may, without being poisonous, raise high its hood, but the show of terror is enough to frighten people, whether he be venomous or not. These 7 ought to be awakened if they fall asleep: the student, the servant, the traveler, the hungry person, the frightened man, the treasury guard, and the steward. These 7 ought not to be awakened from sleep: the serpent, the king, the tiger, the stinging wasp, the small child, the dog owned by other people, and the fool.
Those who are endowed with beauty and youth and who are born of noble families are worthless if they have no learning.
A man who encounters the following 3 is unfortunate: the death of his wife in his old age, the entrusting of money into the hands of relatives, and depending upon others for food. Knowledge is lost without putting it into practice, a man is lost due to ignorance, an army is lost without a commander, and a woman is lost without a husband.
The following 4 characteristics of the denizens of heaven may be seen in the residents of this earth planet: charity, sweet words, worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and satisfying the needs of brahmanas. Swans live wherever there is water, and leave the place where water dries up. Let not a man act so, and comes and goes as he pleases. Do not be very upright in your dealings, for you would see by going to the forest that straight trees are cut down while crooked ones are left standing.